Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You would think that after spending hundreds of hours working on the fastest self-sustaining nether tree farm, I'll be done with it. But well, exactly 2 weeks after the video for it dropped, Mojang decided to introduce a crafter to the world. Whilst this crafter had a lot of immediate uses in compacting farm output, storing a stack of non-stackable items in recipe form, and even being used as a counter, I saw its potential as a solution to one of the biggest reasons players stray away from farming netherwood in preference of their more smeltable, overworld counterparts. Due to the fire-resistant nature of stems, they can't be smelted. Well, at least not directly. A workaround I've seen a few people use is to manually craft them into sticks instead. A solid approach. But if you do a quick bit of division, you'll find that 7 stems crafts into 56 sticks, which are then able to smelt into 28 items in total. But if you took one extra crafting step and turned those 56 sticks into 24 ladders instead, you'd then be able to smelt 36 items, which is 30% more efficient than sticks. The big roadblock with both of these charcoal alternatives though, is the quite involved step of crafting the stems into planks, and then the planks into sticks, and then arranging a prime number of sticks in a H shape to make a first odd prime number of ladders. So when I heard about the crafter being added, instead of getting excited about auto-crafting intricate redstone components with the flick of a switch, or compacting the output of gold farms by 81 times, my mind instantly jumped to ladders. All I had to do was wait until the intermittentness of my free time and motivation overlapped, then roll a further 1 in 8 chance to work on this particular project over some others. And after 10 months, it was finally time. Within a few minutes, I had a design for a near max speed ladder autocrafter that could fuel a furnace array with up to 225 furnaces. I then spent a couple hours integrating it into the farm and adding an output socket to connect up to an external furnace array, which lets you choose between sending boxes of ladders to your furnace array or storing up to 3 million of them in this bulk storage here, which I also expanded to store excess empty shulker boxes, which the farm now produces a few of. Whilst we're at it though, let's fix all the bugs that have accumulated with this farm over the past year and implement half a dozen more quality of life features that you don't even need to be playing in 1.21 to access. And for you 1.21 players, we can grab a few copper bulbs and use them to implement a much needed upgrade to the Playerless mode of this farm. A reminder that this was never meant to have a playlist capability. I just added it because I can, and because of that, the blast chamber isn't optimized for it at all. It spams TNT like it's meant to be blowing up 600,000 blocks an hour, whilst playlist mode is only churning out about 40,000. So it makes sense that a lot of items were just being blown up before they could be pushed out and dropped down to safety. Instead of adding a bunch more repeaters to these clocks, slowing down the TNT dupers, and then switching them on when in playlist mode, I set the farm to disconnect the output of the clock from the duper, and then sample it every n cycles, effectively increasing its period by a factor of n, as that's how many extra times it needs to run to produce an accepted output. This requires a counting circuit, which is what copper bulbs were born and bred for. Before 1.21, you would usually use sticky pistons spitting out their blocks to make a binary counter, but bulbs are able to jump between 2 states without taking up nearly as much space. The only thing they're good for now after their 1 game tick delay was removed. So, if we want to quadruple the length of our clock, we can place our bulb here to be directly powered by the rising edge phase of the clock, already doubling the length. And then by taking a comparator output into a monostable, we can create a single redstone pulse every 4 cycles of the original clock. For the dupers in the lower 2 quadrants of the farm, the duper clock is sampled every 4 cycles, and the top quadrants have them sampled every 8 cycles, as there's less blocks generated up there. I didn't go into much detail about this in the original explanation video, but these 4 dispensers here, as well as the nylium growth dispenser below, all activate in the same tick. But the game can only process 1 dispenser activation at a time. So what if all these top dispensers fire before the bottom one does within the same tick? Then, if a fungus was generated that cycle, it would miss out on 4 growth attempts. I found that in the 8 game tick period of each playerless cycle, these 2 dispensers are firing before a fungus could have generated. This is because the nylium dispenser is being powered with an observer, which shares the same priority as the other observers being powered within that tick. Redstone repeaters have the highest priority, and so if a repeater is about to power in the same tick as an observer, the repeater will always get processed first. Using this, we can replace this observer here with a repeater, and after some reshuffling of the redstone, we can check that indeed this bottom dispenser is always firing first in the tick. Superb. What You wanted more autocrafting because that was the title of the video? Alright, sure. Here's 2 autocrafting systems that make your life as a technical player up to 21.3 times more compact. Thank this shulker box crafter here, designed by this quadfecta of players, which takes in boxes of logs and shells as opposed to individual shulker boxes, serving as a great alternative to those that don't play with stackable shulker boxes. As well as this, you also have the option to input bone meal in the form of bone blocks, which reduces the amount of boxes you have to carry to this farm by 9 times if you're running it in a non-self-sustaining mode. And to regulate the decrafting of bone blocks into bone meal, I've used a similar circuit to the one used to provide fungus to the player. Now, since filming the original explanation video, I've formally learnt about this type of circuit at university, although I still don't know how to pronounce it properly. This Hys-te-re-sis one sec. Yeah, so like I was saying, this Hys-te-re-sis circuit allows the decrafter circuit to switch between 2 states. In this case, paused when the bone meal storage is filled, and decrafting when it's running empty. There's a bit of leeway, so in order to go from the filled state to the running empty state, the fill level has to drop all the way to 0, whereas to get back to the filled state, the fill level needs to reach 15. So, that's all the interesting stuff about the anniversary edition of the SSS. I've also made a new user guide for the 1.21 version, which goes over how to set up all the autocrafters, and has an updated rates table for the new modes. I highly encourage you to check out the world download and play around with the settings, and see the new user interface for yourself. I mean, you'll need something to kill the time until I release my next video.